for a totally necessary conversation about high school productions of Sweeney Todd.
All right.
So
we were Sweeney talking. I had to go do a thing real quick. We're back. So
the Arthur L. Johnson High School.
Arthur L. Johnson High School. This is the first week we're actually talking about a high school production of Sweeney Todd. We're having as described, a totally necessary discussion about as many of these as we can find. Before we had to take a quick break and restart, we were talking about the last productions of just anything we had seen, and you had seen a high school production of Legally Blonde. How was that?
It was good. It was very good. The drama program at that school is very strong.
Yeah. Can you name the school or no?
I could, but
okay. Yeah,
it's where we went to school.
Okay, yeah, you don't have to. The last thing I saw, and this is a story I've told on the internet before, was I saw a Mercer County Theater production, the Kelsey Theater. They did a production of SpongeBob the Musical, which I had always
enjoy it.
I was on edibles,
so a lot.
And well, that's the thing is no, because I was on so my wife surprised me with the tickets, and she was like, "We're gonna be right up front." I wasn't on edibles. I was just really high. And she's like, "Oh, we're gonna be like right up front," and I was like, "Oh, awesome, cool." And I didn't really think about what to wear, so I just wore shorts. And then I think we talked about this before. We don't need to say what the shirt says on it, but I wore a shirt that is a joke shirt that says
Does it? Can we?
We can, sure. It says something on this shirt in like the death metal font, and it has Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle on it, and he looks Satanist. But I wore that shirt not really understanding that when my wife got these tickets, they were not just front row, they were like front and center. And the orchestra there was no pit. So the orchestra was above where the performers are.
Okay.
So there's no pit. So it's our seats in the middle front of this performance, and we don't know anybody in this troupe. We're just going to go. And we're dead middle, and the distance between me and the stage with this shirt on and very, very high is less than 3 feet. So I'm looking up at the performers the whole time, and we are close. It's very intimate, and it's SpongeBob the Musical, which is also, the very crowd interactive. And I know all the songs, and I love it. And I've always wanted to see it. And again, but I've never wanted to. I didn't want to see a big production of it. I always wanted to see like a smaller production of it. And so here we are, and I'm front and center, and I sit down, and it takes me a few minutes to realize the issue is that the eye contact I am making with the performers on stage is no longer just like, oh, I made eye contact with Squidward. It's like prolonged, and it's awkward because we're so close, and I'm wearing a shirt with a young boy's face on it.
That's some could consider objectionable.
That's some, yeah. And there's all this stuff, and so there was a moment, I talked about this online before, where Sandy Cheeks is singing a song of some sort. I don't remember the song, and she's like doing her thing. She's like dancing and looking at people in the crowd, and then she looks at me, and our eyes lock.
Does she make a face?
And the smile on her, she looks at me, She's looking me in the eyes, and then I see her. She does that thing theater people do, where they're still making their character face, but then they look around with their eyes, and she looks down and makes eye contact with Dewey on my shirt, and her smile kind of just like humanizes. It becomes real.
It loses a little bit of a
it's no
spark.
longer sandy cheeks. It's the actress going, "What the fuck is on this guy's shirt?" And she did not look at me for the rest of the show.
Beautiful.
So that was the last experience I had with a theater, in a theater.
So this show, and I'm glad you mentioned the pit, because this production also doesn't have a pit. It has a raised stage, but it does not have a lowered pit. So you can see a lot of the instruments in a lot of the wide shots.
Of the Sweeney Todd?
Of the Sweeney Todd, yeah.
Yes, it does.
So I looked into the school a little bit, because a lot of high school productions has to do with like the makeup of the school, and while I couldn't find anything with my cursory examination of like the culture or whatever, I did find that it's roughly the size of where we went to school, about 700 people.
Okay.
It's Union, New Jersey.
Oh, really? It's like semi-local?
For you, yeah.
For you? Oh, I guess technically, yeah, we live in two different parts of New Jersey.
We're a couple hours apart, yeah.
We used to not be, so now I'm like...
It's a little confusing. This was in 2018. I don't know what showing this show was, which also influences. If you've ever been to multiple showings of a high school production or been in a high school production, you know that like the first show in front of a crowd is a lot different than the last show in front of a crowd a lot of the time.
I have a theory that this is one of the last showings because there are some silly moments. I
think it's one of the last showings as well.
Do you have the same theory I have?
Do you think that this is one of the last, if not the last show of the creative director?
I think that, but also, should I bring this up now? Okay, there's a scene where I don't have the time. I have the timestamp for every fucking moment in this play except this one. Sorry if you hear it, chat like I'm live. There's a moment so it's around the 30-minute mark when they are introduced to Tobias and Pirelli. That scene begins around like the 30-minute mark. If you look in Mrs. Lovett's basket, there's like a comically like for humor rubber chicken in there.
Funny.
Did you notice this?
I didn't notice that. And so you think it's the last showing? It was one of the pranks.
Yeah, well, yes, because this rubber chicken also appears like a few other times in different scenes. None of the serious scenes, to my knowledge, but the scene, the Lovett and Beatles scene, the rubber chicken is there. The scene, I forget the name of the song, but it's Tobias and Mrs. Lovett's song. The chicken is there. Harm you. Yes. Yeah, so there's like 3 scenes where this rubber chicken is just there lurking. And I was like, oh, that's a very funny and very harmless little last showing prank. Like, oh, we're gonna hide this rubber chicken around on set, and haha, it's gonna be just for us.
That's a good one. Sometimes
yeah.
A lot of productions have a tradition where the last showing you play some pranks on each other, and sometimes people don't quite. Sometimes, especially the younger members of the production will get in the spirit, but not quite understand the execution. Because it's not. It's not. And sometimes it'll affect the production.
And that's not the point of it. The point of it is to like. I always saw it as like a really fun way to force improv into a show that doesn't need to ever be addressed, because
it keeps it fresh. It keeps the actors on their toes, and it stops it from becoming a death march, basically.
And this
especially if you're doing 4 or 5 shows.
This rubber chicken is so funny to me because so much of the narrative with the pies and everything is that there's no meat, which and in my head I'm like, so do they? Is that rubber chicken an analog for a real chicken in her grocery basket, or is it just like a comedy rubber chicken that
she's carrying around?
She just carries around, and I'm like, oh, that's a really good little piece of like, oh, that's funny, you know.
Based on her impulse buy of the harpsichord, maybe she's got a good deal on it.
Yeah.
So
God.
let's start with the set, because it's mostly one set.
It is entirely one set, and
it's one backdrop, a couple rotating pieces of set that they use, like the meat grinder is the other side of Lovett's parlor room.
I do not believe, and this is, I tried to get in touch with Emma. You saw my comment. I have a comment on the video when we post it. You'll see it. I tried to get in touch with Emma, who is the uploader of this video, but also the young lady who plays Mrs. Lovett. She does a fantastic job. Actually, like,
she's probably my favorite.
She is my. It's tough because you always want to be like, oh, it's Mrs. Lovett or Sweeney, and that seems cliche, but I feel like both of their performances are really, really good. Especially for high schoolers, they're both really, really, really putting their best into it. And when I say their best, I don't mean like the best a high schooler can do. I could easily see both of these kids in like a young adult theater thing.
Yeah, and I feel another important part of any Sweeney production is the chemistry between Lovett and Todd, and I felt they had that in this. I felt Todd was a little more intense than in some iterations, and I think Miss Lovett was a little more springy, a little more airy, and I feel like that was a good compliment. I feel like that they played off each other very well.
I think he's giving he is definitely giving like Josh Groban, like dismissive, dark, edgy, which is fine. I would rather have that than Johnny Depp Sweeney Todd. Or any day. I don't like how Depp played Sweeney Todd at all. But yeah, the sets. Everything looks nice.
Big Ben is an invaluable member of the cast.
I was gonna ask you, how do you feel about the ominous Big Ben just being in every shot in this play? There are
it's a funny quirk of the recording that because they zoom in when it's just on the top layer, that Big Ben becomes much more prominent in those shots. In the wide shots, Big Ben kind of fades in the background, but just because it's towards the center and it's on the higher level and you zoom in on those shots, Big Ben becomes a very prominent member of certain scenes, and it's very silly.
In almost half of the play, like I'm looking at different scenes I have timestamped. All of the Joanna window scenes, all the Pirelli sequence. The sequence
in the barbershop.
Yeah. Big Ben is looming there. But then when there are so many scenes where it's just Sweeney and somebody else in the barbershop, and the spotlight is there and the camera is super zoomed in, and the Big Ben is just, it's like a Shinigami, dude. It's so funny. And it's just constantly looming over the shoulders of Sweeney Todd as he kills people vengefully. And you gotta wonder, like,
that's this dark and angry god. That's where it lives.
That's the vengeful god he serves, is Big Ben.
I will say the extras, I don't like using the term extras, but the company was tremendous. They did a very good job. They were very into a lot of the scenes. I tend to like productions more at this level where the company is more engaged, when the company is actually doing things as opposed to just kind of listing around on stage, which we talked about in the first episode. Sometimes, especially with male talent, sometimes you need to do some conscription.
Yes.
But everyone seemed to be having a good time. Everyone seemed to be engaged, and it that definitely elevates the whole performance.
Yeah, I have in my notes. Where did I put this? Oh, it's in two different notes. I have one note, that just kind of talks about, again, the general ensemble cast. They're really good. They're really great. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about this a little later, but the costumes for so many of these people in the ensemble are so good, except when they're not. There's one or two background performers. We'll get into this when we get into our upcoming weekly reoccurring segment, which we can do near the end of the episode. We're going to have a weekly reoccurring segment. But there are two characters especially prominent in the Pirelli scene. And one of them is a small child who has on like a Wario outfit. Like he's dressed like Wario. He has the little cap and the big Wario mustache. And then there's another character who has like he's giving Joseph Stalin with the big Stalin mustache and goatee. And every scene they're in, I cannot take my eyes off of them. They're so.
I see who you're talking about.
Yes,
I see exactly who you're talking about.
Yes, and that little small child is great. That I every scene that little person, I don't mean little person like that. Every scene that person is in, they do a really good job. Everyone does a really good job. But I could not stop laughing. I'll send you the screenshot that kind of like fucked me up, and it's this one right here. The timestamp is 32:43 for all of those watching along at home. And he's standing and his arms are at his side, and he looks like sad Wario.
Yeah, no, I kind of see what you're talking about. Yeah, no, I like it. I think Pirelli is a good place to pivot into accents, which is something you kind of have to mention in every production.
Did you have a note about accents?
I did.
Okay.
I had a couple. My varying ranges, which is very common in high school productions, like that's the last thing that you tend to polish unless you're doing like unless you're doing several shows in succession. You don't. There's so many finer points in terms of like acting, choreography, singing that you can't polish every single aspect of the performance. And as a result, once the accents are serviceable, I think that tends to be one of the last things you focus on once everything else comes to a head.
Yeah.
That said, I think they were fairly good in this. And Pirelli's fake Italian accent was incredible.
Can we start can we go character by character with the accents? Because I have notes on every character and every accent.
Okay, go ahead.
Pirelli is so good, and I watched this I watched this with somebody else, somebody you don't know, like a friend of mine who was also into like weird internet stuff. And they watched the first episode and they were like, oh, like when you watch the next one, let me watch it with you. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. It's always nice to have like fresh eyes on this stuff. They hated Pirelli. They were like, this is so bad. And I'm like, no, that's Pirelli.
He's the mountebank. That's the point.
Pirelli. That's just how this actor gets it. This actor understands, like, yeah, he's not great. Like, he's very easily caught, you know. It's not like his scheme is very quickly undone. And his accent is so good, and he puts so much into it. And there's a scene I showed you, the scene where he's walking onto the stage, because we talked about this, how the pit and the stage gap is kind of weird. I don't want to say weird, like bad. Oh, fuck, I didn't timestamp it, but I sent you the screenshot where they're talking, and it's the scene. Spoilers for Sweeney Todd. It's the scene where Pirelli goes to confront Sweeney and be like, "Hey, I know you're Benjamin Barker."
Yeah, we should probably put that before every episode. But we said it in the last episode, but basically that it's a Sweeney Todd podcast. If you haven't seen Sweeney Todd, watch a version.
Somebody I sent this was like, "Oh, I'm surprised you guys like went into spoilers so quickly," and I'm like, "Really?
How are we going to talk about half the show is spoilers?"
I kind of half said like, "Oh, spoiler alert for Sweeney Todd." I kind of half said that as a joke, and then somebody I showed this to was unironically they were like, "Oh yeah, I'm surprised you guys went into spoilers so quick. I haven't seen the movie," and I'm like, "Oh, damn. Okay, well, yeah, maybe we'll put like, I don't know."
The show has a couple twists and turns, but it is. What year did this musical come out originally?
Oh my god. Before we were ever born.
Yeah, it's because it's a Sondheim musical.
Yeah, and it's
so yeah.
Excuse me. Wow, we're keeping that in.
79.
I was gonna say 80. But yeah, 79, and he had written it long before it was a musical.
Yeah, it was.
I believe it was one of those things Sondheim wrote, and then was kind of just like, yeah, whatever. No one's gonna like. This just is what it is, and then there's a whole documentary on it, but yeah.
No, Pirelli was incredible. What do you think about? Were there any other outstandings among the accents?
Yes, I have in my notes. Toby. I put Toby. I don't want to say this now that we're recording it. I was not a fan of the Toby. I have Pirelli Shark / Toby and then notes on Toby. But Toby's accent was not. I wasn't a fan of it.
I got big ups for Toby. I think I know some of the reasons why you didn't care for it, but you can tell the actor is going for it. Even if you don't like the performance, I think the actor did a tremendous job.
And that's why. So, you know what? For the sake of clarity, in my notes, I wrote Toby bad with a lot of A's, like Toby bad.
What scene did you write that in? Because I think Toby did great during. Toby did a great job during Miracle Elixir, especially the tooth pulling.
Dude, like right out of the gate, I was like, "Oh, Toby's bad. Like, I don't like this Toby." But it wasn't the actor I didn't like. It was the I don't like Tobys that are played as like comedic relief. I don't like it when a Toby is like, haha, I'm a silly character and it's going to be traumatic when I'm mentally broken at the end. I don't like that. But then I think it was on my third viewing. I was like, fuck, dude, this actor slaps, dude. This actor makes me love this
He
trope.
goes for it.
And I think that's why it works, is because he's putting the type of energy that like the Pirelli actor would put into it, where you have to be 100% into that sort of trope. Like,
yeah, and even in the more serious scenes, like the nothing's gonna harm you, he really puts his whole into the body language when he's at his feet.
Yeah,
like it's a very good. Yeah, no.
When he finds the purse, when he finds what's the 3 pence Pirelli purse. There's the scene where I forget the song, but it's when he's serving the pies and Sweeney's in the shop. This quick,
God, that's good.
Appropriate tangent. When he's serving the pies, it's the scene where Sweeney's waiting. Is the song just called New Chair?
You mean God That's Good is the sequence?
But what's the song? Okay, sure. Where he's upstairs waiting for the chair. They're doing the whole thing with the pies, and he's doing little like Three Stooges bits with the beggar woman. I love that so much. Yeah. That was so fun. If I had seen that live, I would have been like, wow, these kids are all great. Because it's one of the few shots in the musical where you get the set, like you really get a scope of how well designed the set itself is, to where you can have the pie shop, the dining room. Everything is very it's well designed. You have 4 settings all blocked like super well. Like the left half of the stage, they're all eating pies, and then the right half of the stage, the Big Ben side of the stage, we'll call it, you have just 2 other things going on, and it works really, really well framing wise too. And that's why I think I don't think they built this set. I think this is a pre-constructed set because of that reason. And if it's not, that's really, really, really cool.
That's even more for them, yeah.
Yeah, but because of the whole trapdoor stuff, I'm always skeptical. Like, I don't think they would have the budget for trapdoors, but I don't know. But because of how framed, like really well framed this set is, I think it's a pre-constructed set. And there's 2 productions we're going to watch later on where they use the same pre-constructed set, and they each kind of use it differently. But here, I haven't seen this set before, but I do think it's pre-constructed. Yeah. We went from accents to this, and that's insane.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Were there any other? Because we did that kind of dovetails with the set discussion. The set we talked about a little bit before, and that's a little bit more. Were there any other outliers among the accents, or pretty much like some were better than others, but for the most part, I think they were all none of them were like distracting.
Yeah, so I just had that the accents didn't they sounded like fakey British. They didn't really sound...
I like calling them the Dick Van Dyke British.
Yeah, it was like it was not, they weren't great accents, but you know, that's not what we watch. We don't watch this to see like a master class and people doing vocal vocal performances matter in a musical, but like elocution in different accents is so low on the priority list in terms of pulling off a stage production at a high school level. Like, yeah, once it's not distracting, like that's honestly that's when you start tightening the choreography. That's when you start making, you know, pushing the actors to hit their notes better. Like the elocution is so low on the priority list for that, especially in something like Sweeney Todd, which is supposed to be a pulp fiction where people are assuming identities and like it's not. Yeah, and excuse me, I like it when again in something like Sweeney Todd, when you can have these not great accents kind of be like, oh, that's a distraction up until a point where it's not, and then you sort of just accept that Sweeney Todd, we've talked about this before in the first episode, Sweeney Todd has the potential to really be a lot more cartoonish and Looney Tunesy than it's presented as, because unfortunately due to Tim Burton, it's now this like edgy gothic thing, but you know, its origins as like a little silly Penny Dreadful should always be there, and I think that's why I like these high school performances, because you get a lot of like "Oi, Gavna" out of people who like may or not. Hey, listeners! I just wanted to come in and say that I understand. I feel you. There are some things that just keep you up all night in this world. Things like regret, revenge, and the search for vengeance. Maybe your neighbor is a mysterious barber who has some questionable clientele. Maybe sometimes you're an hour, 3 hours into editing a podcast about Sweeney Todd and you realize you're kind of just wasting life away. You have no energy. You're tired. You're bloated. Well, that's where this week's sponsor comes in. Rogue Energy. Rogue Energy has been a gaming and lifestyle drink supplement that I've been partnered with for about 5 years now. I use them for all of my video game streaming content, for all of my music production content on YouTube. I use them for everything. I don't drink soda. Rogue Energy is sugar-free, and it gives you all the benefits that a nice, crisp Diet Coke would. You just take your little mix, put it into the drink, water usually. Some people use milk. I see you in the Discord. You're weird for using milk. You just give it a little mix. Rogue has shakers that I used to collect, and then I lost them all, and I don't have them anymore. But I wish I did, because they're awesome. Yeah, you know, I've been drinking Rogue Energy as a supplement for soda for 5 years now, you know, and quite honestly, I recommend it over any other powdered-based mix drink supplement. Using code TURTLE at checkout, you can get 10% off your entire order. I use that code. It's great. Sometimes I'll get a shaker. Sometimes I'll get like 4 tubs of my favorite flavor. They used to have cans. I stocked up on cans, and I went through them way too quick. But at least I have code TURTLE at checkout to get me that 10% off my next order of Rogue. So if your energy is fading faster than a man whose diet only consists of morally baked meat pies, then give Rogue a try. That rhymed. Cool. Anyways, code TURTLE at checkout. Rogue Energy. Their website. It'll be in the description. Code TURTLE. Thank you. Back to the podcast. Or if this is the end of the podcast, thanks for listening. Just the overall cartooniness of it, like the accents in this one. I feel like Sweeney his actors may be doing his own thing with the voice, and I'm fine with that. Again, it's very Josh Groban. Josh Groban doesn't really do an accent that's like super British, you know. He's kind of just talking like
no, which would make sense for Todd being like in a penal colony for the better part. Like if he had any elocution, like he probably got most of it back on his way on the ship back. Because the I'd have to look into this, but memory serves the Australian penal colonies weren't just British citizens as in UK. They were also from the colonies and such. So it was a hodgepodge of personage, and you can tend to lose your native inflections in a set amount of time there, especially when you're not talking a lot.
Yeah. And Sweeney,
I think
Sweeney
they made
was
a lot of choices I really, really liked in this.
Like what?
The use of blood, which is not always a given in a high school production.
Oh yeah, they use blood. They don't use like ribbons or anything. You'll see a lot of like throat slits, and then I'm throwing a ribbon out, you know. But this is like blood. And
in where the meat grinder is, the whole wall is just coated in it, which is really fun. I like that.
It's really
the use of the whistle.
Yes, yeah. And I don't think it's a sound effect. I think they actually have.
You think they have a steam whistle down there?
They have a steam whistle down there because
it was very. I like it. It was the whole point of the whistle is to be jarring and grating and intrusive. So I think they did that perfectly.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a sound effect, or I feel like it's not a sound effect because I put this in my notes too. The mic quality is really bad, so a lot of times.
That was one of my notes. That really? Overall, the mic quality varies very highly, and occasionally there's some feedback.
Yes,
which I feel like the whistle might have contributed to the awkward equalizing.
Yeah, I
exactly what their setup is, but it's hard to balance something that high pitched and that loud with speaking and singing, so because I don't like them at all.
if it were a sound effect, you would just use compression. You would get you would like run some sort of digital compressor through whatever software you're using the sound effect for, or just get an analog compressor and just do like an input in and an input out, or a stereo in or stereo out, and then you would just compress it. You would just go down to the guitar classroom and get a guitar presser and just plug it in, blah blah blah, and that's it. So I think it was a real whistle because of how loud and mic shattering it is.
Yeah, it is very loud.
What it's supposed to be. Yes,
that's wonderful. The other note I have about equalizing and like leveling and stuff is that occasionally the pit does seem to have it tends to have a sour note, but I don't know if that's intentional or not because of the nature of the musical. And the songs that they're in.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It's not the same section for the most part. So I kind of took that as like, you know, maybe they're purposely playing like a sour note on some of these songs because it adds a little character. They'll do that in a lot of higher budget performances too. Like they'll detune like violin parts just to make it sound like, and you know, Sondheim loved that sort of adding character to the music.
Yes.
You know, that was his big thing, was the music. So just having detuned instruments in something like this, you know, it's just like the whistle. It adds, it really adds like the Sondheim touch to a thing like this. We just to go back on it really quick, the level of violence in this is really good, and then they have, during the incredibly violent sequence, they have the little girl with the comically large lollipop. Do you remember this?
Yes. I had that where the one that's in the shop while Sweeney is executing people.
Yes, I
have a note for that where where is it? The little girl scene was well acted by everyone involved, from Sweeney to the little girl. The frustration he has that he can't kill the father because the daughter's there, either from a practical or moral standpoint.
What the fuck? Are those what your notes look like?
No, it's literally the Joanna Rowe dash little girl scene was well acted.
Oh,
But
okay.
it activates the memory for me.
Shit, I was gonna see like my notes. My notes are like Pirelli Shark, Toby Bad, Beggar Lady. All right, Kid
I
Kid,
have
Kid with Wario Mustache.
some of my notes are sequential. I have some character notes. Lucy, I felt chewed the scenery in the best way, especially during the "God That's Good" sequence, but just in general. And that's one of the choices that I was interested in. Is they kept Lucy's, as I have it in my notes, Lucy's muff ditty.
Yes, yes. I free the muff, dude. I hate it when a lot of these younger high school performances kind of cut a lot of the sexuals. And I understand these are teenagers, but a huge part
It guts the character.
it guts the character, and not in the same way that removing the flogging orgasm song is, because that's like self satire. That's like a song. Like maybe we'll talk about that song in an episode where a high school production or a low budget production does do it, and why it's an incredibly.
Was there any other song that they didn't do? I think that's the only song they didn't do.
That's the only song. The high school version of Sweeney Todd does not cut any songs except that one. And oh, fuck, dude, I started making a list last night, and I haven't checked it twice. But I made a list of comparisons between the high school version, and the version of the play that like a lot of theaters do, and a lot of it is in dialogue. Almost none of it is in song. It's really cool, because Sweeney Todd, structural wise, is like song after song after song. Like sometimes there's like borderline 2 songs happening at once. You see that a lot with.
There's lots of rows. There's lots of layered songs. There's lots of just because different narratives are intersecting. It's a very fun way to highlight them.
Yes, like a lot of the stuff with Beetle and the Judge and Sweeney, and like there's that whole row where it's like the 3 sets of characters kind of just doing their own thing. That happens really quick. Since we're talking about Beetle and the Judge, I didn't really like the Beetle too much in this, and I feel like it's because his mic was too quiet.
The Beetle, I was kind of lukewarm on, except, and I'm very biased, the parlor song sequence, which is one of my favorite parts that they frequently get rid of from productions. He was delightfully camp, it says in my notes. He did a great job with that. The scene in itself was interesting. Did they have an actual harpsichord in the pit?
No, I
can hear it.
They have. Hold on, I will get you the model number.
Because I couldn't hear at first. I'm like, oh, I can't hear the organ, and then I could hear it, and it wasn't an organ; it was a harpsichord, and I'm like, oh, that's fun.
They have a Casio W245 or WK245, right?
Is that physically on the stage, or is that what's in the pit? Okay.
WK45. Oh my god, I forgot the name of it. 245. And do you know how I know that they have this?
Did it do something weird that one that you worked with does?
You can vaguely see it, but it has a really ominous blue light display. And it has a really distinct harpsichord sound font. And I know all of this because about 5-6 feet in front of me, that is the Casio workstation I use. So when I do music stuff, I'm using the same piece of gear. There, like that harpsichord sound is very Casio. It's very distinct, and the ominous blue light that it makes, a lot of people fuck with it. So yeah, not a real harpsichord, just a really, really, really great harpsichord sound font.
That's most of the cast except Anthony and Lucy. How did you feel about them?
I loved them. They were really good. I thought the Kiss Me scene was good.
I have a note about that number specifically.
Is it that they were sharing a mic?
That's part of it. It's that song is a very sticky wicket. It's a fast-paced song where you're stepping on each other, but also keeping pace. So I think that's one of the most difficult two-person songs to do for a high school production.
Yeah.
So I think they did very well. The timing at the beginning was very tight, and then they kind of lost it a little bit towards the end. But I feel like they did a great job overall.
Yeah. I think they kind of got lost in the middle because they had to share a mic, and there's a lot of breath work in that song. I mean, when you look at professional performances and even higher budget performances where they can afford an overhead mic or even a mic on either side of the little table or sofa or whatever they're singing on, so they can have more dynamic movement, which I think helps that performance a lot. Is when they're not kind of anchored, yeah, because they're kind of
they're supposed to be flitty and flighty, and
and they're kind of just on top of each other the whole song, and I don't hate that. I don't think it's bad, but I like it when during that sequence they're running
around, looking out the window, and no. I will say overall, Joanna, I was very pleasantly surprised by the quality of singing. Not that I had anything against the specific actress going in. It's just that it is a very difficult part to sing.
Oh, that entire character is a very difficult character to play.
I worked for a while at a campground where we do karaoke nights around when Frozen was big, and as a result, I am painfully aware of the various range the gap between what the range of someone who likes a song and what the actual range required for a song is.
Yeah.
And Joanna's parts can be insanely difficult. A lot of trilling, like a songbird. That's the motif. But the way they adapted it for her was very well, and she hit it very well. I was bracing for impact a little leading up to the songbird song, and I was very pleasantly surprised. Would you like to go through sequentially?
What does that mean?
Go through any notes we have about the progression of the musical itself.
I don't quite have. See, this is where I'm now getting embarrassed because I feel like your notes are so much better, because my notes every time someone with a new costume comes on stage, I'll put oh, that's certainly a costume, or kind of
That's fun.
The first time the judge.
Most of my notes are about the music numbers with occasional things about choices made with the story or with the dialogue. But for the most part, it's just I kind of go song by song. I think
I wanted to go song by song, and then I just ended up if you want to do song by song, I feel like the weakest. I feel like the more characters get involved with the song, the weaker the song gets in this production, and I feel like they're just limited on microphones. And as soon as I kind of started picking up they have their ability to record audio is not great, so I'm just gonna stop caring about that.
I think that's part of why they got rid of some of the ghost choir bits.
Yeah, which I'm fine.
They got rid of Sweeney Planned. They got rid of they didn't start the ghost choir until after Pirelli, I think.
Yeah.
Which is fine, and again, especially if you're miking. I think another choice they made due to the mics was the Poor Thing pacing. Worst Pies in London was paced as it usually is, but Poor Thing was a bit slower, and I think part of that was for the time for the actors to navigate the set and to set up the scene that she was describing in Poor Thing. And I think the other part was I think they were switching microphones backstage.
This is why I really, really would love to get at least once I would really like to get somebody involved with a production to
talk about
because I don't know, where did Lucy get that out like she has like she's not dressed like, I don't know. I guess I can't really say what a beggar woman dresses like, but she's dressed more like Bobby Hill rodeo clown than like 1800s.
You mean Lucy in the present day?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was fine. I mean, if you look at it too long, it starts to unravel, but I feel like that's true of most high school costume choices.
Well, Anthony looks great. I mean, granted, he's in like one outfit for the whole thing. I really like his. I think the actor, the young man in that role, fits the character and the outfit really, really well.
Yes.
Which I have a note. I have an opposite note. I feel like some shots Sweeney looks like some of his outfits are too large for him, and I think that's really okay. Like, I think it might be intentional. I also started to be like, oh, is it intent? Like, is he like?
Because he has more than one outfit, and they're all a bit bigger than him.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I like, is it? And I don't want to get too deep into like theorizing about this, but I often, wonder like, I wonder if anybody thought this, and I wonder if anybody thought like having this actor play Sweeney, who's like a smaller framed man, having him sort of like wear these larger overalls and these like larger barber coats, it makes him it emphasizes this part of Sweeney's character where he's incredibly insecure. Sweeney Todd. What?
I thought it was more that he was a shell of his former self, because they are his clothes.
Oh, that's true too. I mean, that's another good way to look at it that I didn't even look at it. I looked at it as like Sweeney is like a very bitter and insecure person. So putting him in clothes that don't fit him kind of like emphasizes this whole thing of there's this sort of dimorphic relationship he has with the Sweeney Todd has this dimorphic relationship with Benjamin Barker, and it's like he, Sweeney is who he is, but he's wearing the clothes and he's wearing the skin of another man, in an insecure way. But yeah, shell of his former self way is a good way to look at it too. And I don't think that these high school kids maybe thought that deep into it. That's kind of like we're doing a podcast.
There's a lot to be said for subconscious choices. Like, a lot of writers are not, like, even like well-regarded writers are not as meticulous as, say, Tolkien in thinking everything out at a cognitive level. However, they will make choices that later dovetail into other choices because it flows with their own sort of internal logic. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if the kids or the costume design like had any agency, I feel like that might be a choice. Like, yes, no, go with the bigger. I feel like the bigger coat fits him better. They might not have been able to verbalize it, or it might not have been a conscious choice. But I think it definitely fit this actor's performance of Sweeney Todd very much.
I agree. I have a note about the lighting that I don't remember. I think it's just there are a few scenes where the lighting is great, and then a few scenes where the lighting is like, oh, all right. I think there's around the 1 hour mark. I forget what the song they're doing is, but it's Anthony and Joanna are on the spotlight, and then the beetle and the judge are under them. And this is a great scene where you kind of get a good look at the judge that you're not supposed to really get, because his wig and his fake facial hair and stuff it's giving like Norm Macdonald KFC the Colonel. But there's a shot where it's the spotlight on Anthony and Joanna, and then how the camera, and this might have looked great in person, but like on video, it just looks like the beetle and the judge are just lit enough to where it's spooky and the wrong kind of spooky. It's giving like Hatbox Ghosts at the Haunted Mansion, and not like stage production of Sweeney Todd.
No, I totally get what you're saying. I don't know how to
explain. Yeah, it's hard to explain via audio, but like there are a few scenes where this happens, where the spotlight is so much hotter than like the jail lights, to where you just have like whiteout. They'll do close-up shots of characters in the spotlight, and you're like, oh, that looks okay, and then they'll pull out, and you're like, oh, that's like whiteout. That's like a big. That's like it's like a big moon in the sky.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the choices, and you're more familiar with high school productions of Sweeney Todd than I am at this point. Is it common to not have Toby be the one to deliver the letter to Judge Turpin?
That is
in most of the productions I've seen, Toby is the one that delivers the letter.
That is a difference in the high school. That when I was talking about comparing the differences, for some reason that is something that's changed quite often. It's like a production by production thing, and I don't know. But
it is a choice they make a lot.
It's a choice they make a lot, and I think it's because either a costume change is happening, or like a mic change is happening, to where
I feel like it might be a mechanical thing.
Yeah. Something that's my theory, is that something, like you said, something mechanical is happening, to where it's easier on the cast to have a small swap like that makes zero change to the plot at all. Like, nothing at all changes because of, at least to my knowledge, I don't think anything really changes, right?
Not a lot. Some productions play more into that. That's kind of what feeds Toby's fear / leads into the conversation about how Sweeney is not good, and that leads into nothing's going to harm you. But it's not load bearing.
Yeah,
I think it's a safe swap to make, especially if you need Toby to be getting a bit of makeup or a mic attachment or something while Sweeney is conducting the letter.
Before we forget. I found this out yesterday because we were having an off the air conversation about Pirelli's Miracle Elixir, and we were talking about whether or not we personally thought it was a real, like, if it was actually doing the magic.
If the elixir was,
yeah. And we're tight on time, so maybe we'll have that discussion some other time. But I typed into Google if like Sondheim or anyone had ever been like, oh yeah, it is ink and piss and ink, blah blah blah, and the Google AI gave me this response: quote, Pirelli's Miracle Elixir was entirely debunked. Sweeney Todd famously exposed the concoction as an errant fraud made from piss and ink in 1846. So Google AI answers that question as though in universe as though it's like, oh yeah, in 1846 blah blah blah, and it's Sweeney Todd famously exposed the concoction as an errant fraud, which is the line. That is the line. That is this is an errant fraud. That's the actual line.
Comprised of no more than piss and ink.
Yes, that's the actual line.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, that's so funny that like Google AI I'd like to imagine the Google AI is the small boy with the Waluigi mustache.
Would you like to move to our weekly segment?
Let me check my notes and see. Decent lighting, audio great, mic quality, no, not Britishy accenty enough. Oh, here's another thing. I don't know how you feel about this, but I don't know why this mattered to me so much. I was very upset that the fancy chair was not fancy and or chair enough for me. At one point I put that in my notes. I don't know why.
What, Pirelli's fancy chair?
No, Sweeney's fancy chair.
Oh, the death chair.
Yeah. The chair famously described as the fancy chair. I feel like it's doesn't get enough love. It goes from being a stool to a chair, which I think is also like that's canon. That's an in-universe thing.
Yeah, he starts with the stool before he gets the elaborate death chute installed.
Random man who looks like actor Mark Duplass storms the stage. We talked about that. Like maybe he's production guy or something.
Yeah, I feel like he's the whatever the role would be for the high school, but the creative producer.
Yeah, we had a guy like that. Every theater does.
Yeah.
I also have a note about Pirelli's Pimp outfit. Pirelli dressed like Pimp. Pirelli dressed like Snoop Dogg Pimp from King of the Hill episode slash dressed as Ray from Time He Went as Ghoul for Halloween.
That's still hanging up. That's still in the school.
Can I have another picture of that? I won't post it anywhere. But I used to have a picture of you dressed as a ghoul for Halloween, and you are very much dressed like Pirelli, both before and after he becomes a ghost in this production.
I'll have to find a picture or take a picture next time I'm in that building. But
casting choices I have, I was hit or miss on the Beetle. I liked how he was kind of dressed like a member of the Ministry of Magic. I thought that was cool. Todd casting, great, love it, great. Joanna Anthony, good. Give me 1 second.
I'll vamp while you're on. I am curious. Again, Ms. Lovett was my favorite part of the production. Big fan of her performance. Some of her songs had interesting pacing, and I'm wondering if it was to keep pace with other cast members, or if perhaps there was a projection / air cycling issue. But a couple of her songs, I noticed her parts had been slowed considerably. And I'm not 100% sure why, because she, like, in other numbers, she shows that she can keep pace. So I'm curious why they did that. But again, there's no way to really know. You'd have to speculate.
Can you refresh everything you just said?
I was just saying, Lovett did a tremendous job, but some of her songs were paced oddly, like slowed down considerably, even though she showed in other songs she could handle it. So I was wondering if it could have been a issue of projection, or if they were getting her to slow down so that other people could like in the Poor Thing song, if they were so other actors could maneuver, or if so other people could find their marks more effectively.
Yeah. Again, maybe Emma will reply to my emails one day, and we'll get a little more details. Well, because I would love to do like, hey, here's an Arthur L. Johnson 2018 follow-up episode or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But we'll have to see for now. But yeah, we wanted to end. We're just about an hour in, which is a lot of time to talk about a high school production of Sweeney Todd. We were going to do a segment. We're going to do this every week. Do you want to introduce it?
So our segment is Wig of the Week.
Wig of the Week.
Wig of the Week. Who do you have as your Wig of the Week?
My Wig of the Week. So Wig of the Week. This is a great production to start Wig of the Week on, because I would say it changed for me. It went from being Toby's long hippie wig to, and then I wanted to argue this. I wanted to see if we could have a quick debate about this. Is any sort of adhesive piece of body hair a wig?
Is it going to be the Wario mustache?
It was if possible, yes, it would be I think the obvious choice, if that's a possibility, is the small boy with the burgundy hat and his Wario mustache. But then also, I also think Anthony's sideburns equally as good.
Mutton chops.
Yeah, his mutton chops look great. I think they're real though, so I wouldn't put them as Wig of the Week.
I'm big on Judge Turpin's hair.
Yes, that's where I ended up. It's giving like Jack the Ripper.
It's giving Jack the Ripper. It's like a lion's mane. It's just so like
it's so
especially
good.
in the scene where he's the first scene where he's in the Pretty Women, where they're singing and his eyes are closed. He looks fantastic. I love it.
He looks like a large cat. There is the scene.
Yes.
There is the scene where it's him and Joanna, and they're on. I don't remember what I don't remember what song or moment of the story this is, but they're on that like bridge part of the set, on the left side of Big Ben, right in front of where they forgot to mask a bunch of the stage lights they have up there to like for whatever reason, and he's standing there. And she's like looking scared, and he's looking down on her, and it's giving like Gargamel harassing Smurfette. It's so good. I found it. That's
a really funny way of phrasing it.
I found it. It's like it really is giving Gargamel, and he's yelling at Smurfette.
I think that's right after Antony first tries to. Oh no! That's when he's saying that he's going to marry her. I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember. I had to scroll through. It's about like 40 minutes in, but
Pretty Women's about an hour in.
I say Smurfette because the lighting is blue, so he's just this large blue man yelling at a small blue woman, and it's
that's really funny.
So funny to me.
So you think Wig of the Week goes to Turpin with an honorable mention for a Wario stash?
I think that's I agree with you. I think Wig of the Week should go to Turpin's, and if going forward, if we consider any sort of adhesive body hair, then yeah, I would say Wario Mustache, because that's blatantly I don't want to harp on this kid or whatever, or hark on him or whatever, but like again, we don't do this to be mean. But that Wario mustache is so good.
It's really good.
It's huge. It's like a big caterpillar mustache on an actor who I'm going to assume is blatantly a freshman. They maybe like 5'5", 5'4", and the mustache is bigger than their face. It's so funny.
It's great.
It's great.
Love it.
It's really great. Yeah, as for that,
so we wanted to mention that part of what we were talking about before, where it would be great if we could get a member of a production to be able to talk to us. If anyone listening was part of or knows someone who was part of a high school production that happens to exist on YouTube, if you could point us in that direction, we'd love to take a look. That would sure help.
Fuck, I'll talk about it. And let's not be mean. I found somebody who was uploading clips of their production that they just did last year to their TikTok page. So they were uploading clips of it in like 10-minute snippets. And it was the TikTok of the account of the person who played Sweeney. And I'm not gonna go into the whole DMs. I reached out to them. I was very polite, and they said something back to me along the lines of like, "Unc, you weird." And then I was like, "Oh, that's a bummer." And then a day later, they were like, "How many views do you get?" And I was like, "All right, dude, you could have just blocked me." But yeah, I think it's this. I have no more notes. I'll take better notes next time, I guess.
No, I think your notes were fine. I didn't save any of mine, so.
I did notice. I did notice. I wrote in my notes 7 minutes ? And I have no idea what that's in reference to. Yeah.
No, overall, I think it was a very good production. I think everyone involved should be very proud of themselves.
It was
very good.
Yes. I agree. I mean, they should always be just getting up there on stage and doing this like 4 times a week, because it's not like they just do this once and they're done. These kids are doing it like evening and later shows. They're doing like I would imagine there's a period during the week where they're doing it for other students. They're doing it on camera.
Oh yeah, usually it's like a 6-month or at least 4-month thing of practicing every day or every other day between different parts of the show, and there's tremendous respect. But this show especially shows a lot of hard work put in and a lot of talent.
Yeah, and to have like an 11-person cast do something as massive as Sweeney Todd.
Yes, especially
incredible.
that a lot of the company was the stage crew. Like I feel like they had a very narrow pool, and I think they made tremendous use of it.
Is that in the credits?
No, but on screen when you see the people moving,
they do a lot
in
of
full costume.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a I now that you mention it, I didn't spot a single like blacked out member of a stage crew.
Yeah,
it was just Waluigi Mustache and the rest of them just moving stuff. But there's also not really a lot to move in here. Not to discredit the hard work, but yeah, it's like we said, it's a very static set. And a lot of stuff is like just turn around or just pull out and push back.
Yeah, not a lot of full redresses or anything like that.
Yeah. Alrighty. You have anything else to say before we're good?
No, just an overall great show, and I'm looking forward to whatever. Do you know which one we're going to be watching for next week?
I will let you know as soon. I will let you know within the hour. Maybe the 1950s one, because we're actually doing better. Our premiere did better than I thought it would, so I feel like this one might keep that momentum up. So maybe we'll do a good one. And when I say a good one, I mean like there's a lot to talk about with that 1950s one.
Okay.
Yeah. Goodbye, audience.
Goodbye, everyone. Stay todded.
Stay todded. Oh, let's not say that. Holy shit. We're done.